Chapter 7 Floodgates. The Hospital, Brighton, Florida, December 3rd, 1998. "They're coming," Candy Stripe says, her eyes closed in concentration. "You're correct, as usual." The doctor grins. "Of course. Those sentimental fools would never abandon their friend. They will attack, falling into my trap and their own demise. I would love to be able to run some experiments on them. 2 more successful GX bondings to compare against would be very useful," Silva says. "You may have what is ever left of them," the doctor says, "but I will not order my forces to hold back. That boy Peril is too dangerous to underestimate." "I don't disagree," Silva says. "I have seen firsthand that child's brutality and raw talent. The GX parasite surely controls their union, yet he does not deteriorate like those whose bodies fully reject the process. He's very special." "Could he be persuaded to side with us against the others?" Candy Stripe asks. "He does not seem to have any allegiance to them, or to our captive." "He's far too unpredictable. I could never trust him, even if he did betray his allies. He rebelled against Khan, and I do not believe that boy could ever be reined in. It will be our best interest for him to die in battle, and his remains be studied. Perhaps you may be able to isolate whatever rebellious gene exists and remove it from any future subjects," the doctor says to Silva. "We need to leave," Candy Stripe says. "It's too dangerous for you to stay here." An explosion shakes the building. Was that them?" Silva asks, panicked. Candy Stripe closes her eyes again, searching for their enemy. "No. Storm and Peril have not yet moved from their positions. I don't sense anyone else nearby except our own staff. Wait. There are several of them, but they're not enhanced. They're difficult to detect. I don't sense anything special about them." "Damn," the doctor curses. "They must have anticipated us being able to detect the energy of unique fighters. It's we who have fallen for their trap." "I'm not sure about that," Candy Stripe says. "We only know of the GX-enhanced rogues Storm and Peril, the scientist, the teacher, and a reject child being allied with our captive. The group attacking us is in greater numbers and moves with training and purpose. I believe they're police or military." Silva grinds his teeth in anger. "Calling that bastard Tyrell a scientist is an insult to the profession. He's a glorified athletic trainer. I gave him the opportunity to side with me, and he spit on that chance. Your petty quarrels mean nothing to me. Whether they have trained killers in their group or circus clowns, we still must eliminate them," the doctor says. "Who's behind the other group, then? Mercenaries? A covert military op?" "Maybe, but I don't think our enemies are working together," Candy Stripe says. "It doesn't matter. Whoever they are, they must be dealt with. Send the GX-enhanced operatives to engage Peril and Storm, and our own staff to kill the other intruders," the doctor orders. "What will you do?" Silva asks. "I will pay the Sakari Hui a visit. It cannot be a coincidence that he is in this town the same time as myself and Yamura. I believe he can be turned to become a more useful ally than Inyana." Candy Stripe nods. "I'll pass on your orders to Bulldog and the others." Outside, Storm, Peril, Tyrell, and Mr. E watch as smoke rises from the back entryway of the hospital. Gunshots echo from inside the buildings as the doctor's forces engage in battle with the unknown team. "They're already under attack," Tyrell whispers. "Who could be doing that?" "I don't know, but it's perfect for us. We'll sneak in and extract Brian while the hospital staff are engaged," Storm says. "Sneak in?" Peril scoffs. "Only cowards try to sneak around. I'll call out their strongest fighters, and I'll kill them." "That doesn't seem to be a well-thought-out strategy," Tyrell comments. "The GX warriors working this job are no pushovers. Their squad leader, Bulldog, took out the virtual, and he's our strongest asset. Strongest? Peril again scoffs. How do you know all that? Mr. E asks. Tyrell shrugs. I do research too. I'm not just another pretty face. Taking out this Bulldog will prove that I'm the strongest, not the virtual, Peril says. Is that really what we should be focusing on right now? We have to approach this cautiously, Mr. E says. Peril folds his arms and pouts. I don't take orders from you, old man. Rounding a corner, Agent Lachey keeps his rifle raised. 2 hospital staff in white coats lift their arms in surprise. We have to assume everyone from the receptionist to the nursing staff are threats. Do not lower your guard around anyone, even for a second, Callahan warns. He turns to Agents Orlandi and Vosk. You stay back and be our eyes on the lower floors and coordinate with us as we ascend. Do not let anyone past you. If you see any changes to security, advise us immediately. Down on your stomachs, Lachey shouts. One of the whitecoats quickly throws a scalpel into the agent's chest. Lachey shouts out in pain, falling backwards and firing on instinct. The attacker is dropped by several bullets before the rest of the gunfire hits the ceiling and rains debris down on them. Engage! Agent Ross shouts, shooting a second whitecoat. She kneels beside Lachey, who is breathing heavily as he pulls the scalpel free. Shit! Lachey curses. Damn thing went through my body armor. The staff have enhancements, Holland says. It's obvious they're stronger and have sharper reflexes than us. Lachey nods, tossing the scalpel aside and groaning. No normal person could throw a knife hard enough to pierce body armor. One of the downed whitecoats moves, slashing Holland's ankle with a scalpel. Holland screams in agony, dropping to the floor. Fighting against the pain, he swings his gun around and fires several shots into the attacker's face. Agent Peter Austin drags Holland back around the corner and tends to his bleeding Achilles tendon. You're not going to be able to stand, Austin says, field dressing the wound. It's pretty bad. We've already announced our arrival, Ross says. Do we fall back? Callahan shakes his head. No, we continue. We have a job to do. This facility is using NHE blood to enhance mercenaries to sell to hostile factions. It's imperative that we shut this operation down. Look at how dangerous just a handful of these bastards have been. Now imagine an entire squad of them in action against our soldiers abroad. Mercado crouches over the whitecoats' bodies, nervously glancing back and forth between them and his own ankles. He keeps his gun fixed on the forehead of the nearest enemy. Call me crazy, but I don't think these fuckers are actually dead. Are you fucking kidding me? Holland groans, leaning back against the wall as Austin finishes bandaging his ankle. I put 2 in the dome of the bastard that cut me. The wounds are healing, Mercado observes. Even the headshots. How is that even possible? Lachey moans. What the hell are we dealing with? They look human, but they've been so heavily modified that they can't really be classified as much anymore, Callahan says. What kind of enhancements make someone unkillable? Holland asks. Callahan unslings a Mossberg 12-gauge from his back and walks over to the bodies. 2 shells and a couple dozen pellets later, and both of the skulls of the whitecoats are reduced to sludge. Even if they can regenerate from that, this at least buys us some time. Holland, guard this hallway for our exit. The rest of us are pushing forward, Callahan says. The PA agents fight their way further into the hospital, taking down several more whitecoats. Because they are dressed like civilian staff, it's impossible to differentiate them from non-combatants, and Callahan commands his men to shoot anyone who does not comply with orders. Passing a cafeteria, workers scream and run for cover as a firefight breaks out between the agents and 4 more whitecoats. One of the hostiles is taken down, but not before the agents lose one of their own. Agent Oscar Ryan collapses, blood trailing from his forehead. Cursing, Callahan raises his shotgun and blasts one of the whitecoats in the chest, knocking him over a counter. The other two remaining hostiles returned fire, forcing Callahan to duck behind a pillar. Concrete splinters nears his face as the agent loads another shell into his firearm. Two more whitecoats emerge from an adjacent hallway, opening fire on the agents from their left. Lachey takes a hit to the shoulder as they duck and dash for better coverage. "Fuck!" Lachey growls. "Why am I taking all the damage?" "Learn to duck," Ross says, reloading her handgun. "Stop crying and shoot back," Callahan orders, lobbing a flashbang at the enemy combatants. As the grenade explodes, the whitecoats become disoriented, and Callahan quickly emerges from cover to drop them both with a single shotgun blast. While returning fire to the remaining whitecoats in the cafeteria, the two from the hall begin to stir. The first two downed are also back on their feet to provide the enemy with additional support. "We're getting nowhere," Ross shouts. "We'll run out of ammo soon if it takes this much effort to kill these fuckers." "Make your shots count more," Lachey shouts. "Only go for headshots, and switch to more stopping power." The other agents holster their sidearms and begin using shotguns if they have them. Those not carrying become much more selective of each round they expend. Another whitecoat is killed, but the battle remains intense. Callahan keys up his radio. "Monster Hunter 1, do you copy?" Bernat replies calmly, "I copy." "What is your 20? "We are en route to your location. We cleared the last of the NHEs from the neighborhood." "Great. Look, we need you to get here ASAP. The enemies at the hospital are nearly impossible to keep down. Even bullets to the head do not seem to be effective." "Are you sure they're humans?" "They're enhanced with something that makes them very fucking difficult to kill. Get here quickly." Bernard does not reply. Callahan hopes the silence means that he's taken the situation seriously and is already rushing over to aid them. "Hang on, team," Callahan says. "We'll have backup shortly." "Tell these fucking mutants to ease up then," Lachey complains, switching out the magazine of his handgun as the slide locks back on empty. He's already out of shotgun shells. "Just don't let them push up on us," Callahan orders. "We have to hold this position until the monster hunters arrive." Means raises his rifle to get a better look across town. He squints to try and make out the details of what he's seeing. Listening carefully, he hears the faint echoes of multiple gunshots ringing out in the distance. "You have eyes on that firefight?" Gator asks, coming to see for himself. "Smoke is coming from a large building across town. Kinda looks like a hospital to me. I bet it's tied to the doctor. It'd be too much of a coincidence for a battle to be breaking out in another hospital with him operating out of this city," Gator says. "The doctor, is he the one you said deals in creating illegal non-human NHE enhanced soldiers?" Gator nods. "It must be him." Gator thinks back to a mission he had in Costa Rica many years ago during his time as a naval special operator, taking down a cartel shipment that was moving up from South America. Gator's team ran into several men who were enhanced beyond normal human abilities. This was his first run-in with NHEs and the paranormal. Later, he would find out that the men were mercenaries, contracted to the cartel by a man known only as the Doctor. The Doctor was in possession of the blood of various NHEs and was using transfusions into the men to enhance their abilities for a short duration of several days at a time. Gator's insistence on looking into the Doctor and his operations would be what drew him into the Silver Fox organization and his subsequent missions thereafter. "No, it can't be him. I put the Doctor down myself many years ago," Gator whispers. "This guy must be a successor of his. They can't be the same one." "What do you want to do?" "I still have a visual on the mercs as well. They're trying to blend in with normal civilian traffic, but it's obvious they're moving with purpose and awaiting some kind of signal. Do not lose sight of them. We'll check up on the hospital later, but I think the mercs here are the more immediate threat." Hang on, Ming says, watching one of the mercs as they move through a group of civilians walking along the sidewalk. Something's happening. Begin, Chigo orders his team. Suddenly, each of the Sakati mercenaries grab hold of the nearest civilian to them and keep them at gunpoint. Yamura, he shouts. Come out and face us, you coward! The sudden display of high-powered weapons and prisoner-taking in public causes instant panic. Citizens scream and run in all directions, causing chaos. Chigo shoots several people in the backs as they run away. These people mean nothing to us, Yamura. I could kill every last one of them without any hesitation or regret. Their deaths are all on your head. Come out here and face us, or I'll slaughter every person in this city. Get out here, you bastard! One of the enhanced mercenaries looks to Chigo for guidance when they receive no response from Yamura. Chigo nods, and the Sakati shoots into the crowd, killing 2 more people. If you don't come outside and face us, we're going to start to execute these hostages. Whether these innocent people live or die is up to you, Chigo shouts. Yamura, a voice shouts from outside. Come out here and face us, you coward. Jake stands up, concerned. What's going on? Claire asks. Jake looks outside the window to see the Sakati mercenaries and their hostages. The teen balls his fists and begins to shake with anger. Damn them, Jake growls. How could they? What is it? Claire asks, walking over to see what has gotten him so agitated. Oh no, she whispers in horror. If you don't get out here right now, we're going to start executing these hostages, Chigo shouts. These people's lives are in your hands, Yamura. Tick-tock. Don't, Claire urges. Let the police handle this. With all the violence that we've seen the last few days, how many cops have you seen? I'm pretty sure any cops in this town are dirty or dead. No one will be coming to help these people. I'm all they have. You can't go out there. They'll kill you. Jake nods, still shaking. Probably. But I couldn't live with myself if I hid and did nothing to try and stop them. The girl is right, Yamura says. You would be doing exactly what they want. There is nothing to gain from this course of action. Those people will die if we don't go out there. So? They are not our concern. We must protect Claire from Hui. None of the other humans matter right now. They all matter. I won't let anyone else die because of me. You are being foolish. We will be gunned down immediately. Your sacrifice would be meaningless. I refuse to believe that. If I still want there to be good in this world, I can't selfishly hide while innocent people are killed because of me. Jake steps outside and into the hornet's nest, despite the protests of both Yamura and Claire. You dumb son of a bitch, Chigo laughs. I wasn't sure this plan was going to work. Let everyone go, Jake says. They have nothing to do with this. Chigo continues to laugh. Not a chance. They are our leverage against you. Now, get down on your knees. Jake complies, still pleading. I did what you asked. Now let them go. Chigo shoves his hostage to the street and aims his gun at Jake. This was just too damn easy. A shot rings out, and Jake covers his head on instinct. Chigo staggers. A single bullet fired right through his eye. Means moves his sights to the next target. Tango down. Gator and the other Silver Fox agents rush through the crowd, shooting the surprised Sakati before any of them can return fire. In seconds, the entire mercenary team is decimated. Sniping most of the targets, Means drops the final enemy combatant with a triumphant grin. Uncle Gator? Jake whispers in disbelief, opening his eyes. Gator extends a hand to help the teen up to his feet. Hey, kid. Are you really here? Jake cannot believe his uncle has come to help him so unexpectedly. Gator nods. Looks like I was just in time to save your ass. What were you even thinking? I didn't have a plan, but I hoped if they'd gotten rid of me, they'd had no reason to hurt any of the hostages. That was incredibly stupid, Gator says, messing up his nephew's shaggy hair. Very brave, but really stupid all the same. Royce walks over confused. What's going on here? I thought your nephew was some deranged demonic serial killer. I'm trying to control that, Jake says. Yamura is still a part of me, and the compulsion of violence is sometimes overwhelming. It takes all of my will to resist his voice echoing throughout my head. I've dreaded the moment we'd have to come face to face again. But it is comforting that you have some control, Gator says. I thought everyone still hated me, Jake admits, sadness in his voice. It still hurts so much to no longer have any of you in my life. You chose to leave, Gator says. No one forced you out. And I made the right choice. If I hadn't left, Inyana would have turned Rockland or Absinthe into the same rubble she reduced Totikahachi to. Everyone I ever cared about would have been killed. But Totikahachi did happen and lots of people did die, Royce interrupts. He points to the civilian shot by Chigo and his team. Everywhere you go, people die. So tell me, why haven't you just offed yourself? Knock it off, Gator growls. Now isn't the time for this discussion. Jake, who sent those assassins? Was it the doctor? Jake shakes his head. A Sakari named Hui hired them. He's trying to get the girl I'm protecting, to use her in a ritual to bind him to a human vessel. Like you? One innocent was sacrificed to make you, Royce says with hatred. That's enough, Gator says, shoving Royce away. Go look for more of those mercenaries. He looks to his nephew apologetically. Sorry about that. Sometimes the gray area is hard to see in our line of work. Jake nods. He wasn't wrong. I'm just as much a monster as Hui or Inyana. No, kid, Gator says, placing a hand on Jake's shoulder. You really aren't even close. Now, go check on that girl of yours. We'll handle things out here. Thank you, Jake says, running back into the apartment. Our time to strike is now, Storm says. The repeating sounds of gunfire continues to echo out from the hospital. While they're occupied with a rear attack, we'll be able to push through their weakened defenses and stand a much better chance of recovering Brian. I came to fight, not rescue someone pathetic enough to be captured, Peril growls. The brash youth quickly releases a pulse of energy through the front doors of the hospital to announce his arrival. Damn it, Mr. E curses in frustration. So much for any hope of stealth. A group of whitecoats emerge from the smoke, led by 4 GX-enhanced mercenaries. Bulldog, Null, Adder, and Blaster. Working with the government now, Bulldog asks, or did you just whore yourselves out to get an advantage over us? Don't get cocky just because you defeated the virtual. You aren't strong enough to step up to me, Peril grins. Bulldog laughs loudly. Damn, kid, you have a lot of spunk. If I was half as mouthy as you at your age, I'd have been killed a long time ago. I'll make sure to correct that cosmic oversight, Peril says. Bulldog turns to his comrades. Dispose of the others however you like, but leave the kid to me. Peril and Bulldog collide in a flash of light, instantly ramping things up to maximum. Bulldog's parasite activates immediately, releasing metabolic energy into his bloodstream and triggering transformation. The man's body mass increases as his muscles swell. Bulldog overpowers his smaller opponent, grabbing him by an arm and swinging him around into a devastating clothesline. Peril falls hard, barely moving. Peril! Storm shouts, moving to help. He's intercepted by Adder and Null. Worry about yourself, Adder says with a smile. You have bigger problems now. He triggers his parasite just enough to elongate his teeth and change his eyes to an amber color, with his pupils becoming slits. Venom begins to drip from the man's jaws. Your little friend is actually the lucky one, Null says. Fighting Bulldog will be a much cleaner death than what we have in store for you. Storm throws his hands out, drawing on the parasite in his own blood to produce a surge of electrical energy. Scales manifest down the length of the teen's arms as the increased energy flows through them. Storm holds up a hand, causing Storm's attack to vanish into sparkles of light. Nope, Null laughs. That's not gonna work. He wags an index finger at Storm. I've seen 100 tricks, all much better than yours. Storm leaps back, trying not to allow the setback to faze him. He attacks again, this time pumping more energy into the assault. Null again negates the electrical energy with ease. Adder rushes in, speeding past his comrade and grabbing Storm by the shoulders. Adder leans in to bite, but Storm is able to shrug out of his opponent's grip and place his right knee into Adder's chest in order to flip the mercenary over him. Adder backflips several times, landing in a crouch. Damn, Storm thinks in frustration. The one is able to shut down my ranged attacks, leaving me open to the close-quarter style of his teammate. Beating them together is going to be difficult. While the GX-enhanced fighters battle, Mr. E and Tyrell are easily subdued by the Whitecoats. What did you hope to accomplish here? Blaster asks, as the Whitecoats keep the men firmly held to the ground. We wanted to sneak in unnoticed, but peril kind of ruined that plan, Mr. E says. Blaster laughs. I appreciate your honesty. One might think that without special abilities, the two of you would be more expendable than your comrades. But it's really quite the opposite. Your intelligence is more rare than the enhancements GX can bring to most common thugs. If it doesn't kill them first, Mr. E interrupts. Blaster shrugs. Some are predestined for greatness. Part of the fun is getting to see who succeeds and who becomes a mindless reject. What are you going to do with us? It's obvious you could have already killed us if you wanted. Bringing you in alive would be more beneficial to my contractor. Do you honestly think that we'd be compliant? We won't do a damn thing to ever please your employer. Blaster chuckles. Compliance can be forced. You'll see. The head priest of Hui's dark following kneels before the altar of his Sakari master in prayer. Craig enters the chamber, looking disheveled. They failed again, Craig whispers. All of the mercenaries that we contracted from the hospital have been killed. This news comes as a surprise to the head priest, and he looks up concerned. That boy eliminated 2 full teams of skilled mercenaries? How is that possible? That boy, as you say, is not the threat, Hui's voice echoes from the altar. It is my former subordinate that has returned to torment me. But some of those mercenaries were enhanced with demon blood. Others even possessed Sakari boosters. It seems hard to believe none of them could overcome Yamura. Perhaps the only way for you to truly appreciate Yamura's power would be for you to face him yourself in battle. Me? The head priest asks, confused. I'm strong, but I have no enhancements. Even that low-life Chigo would best me in combat. Hui laughs. You sell yourself short, my faithful servant. If you enhance trash, is it still not trash? Your base ability far exceeds most humans I've encountered. All you lack is that competitive edge. What kind of edge? The head priest asks. As my sword in the human world, you shall share a portion of my strength in order to strike down my enemies. Craig grinds his teeth in anger, balling his fists as he listens quietly. Why would he give his strength to Cruzon and not me? I am destined to be his vessel. It should be me who has chosen to gain his power. Hui consumes the head priest in light, filling him with Sakari energy. The head priest stares at his hands in disbelief as sparkles crackle all around his form. His eyes become completely red. With my power, you shall kill Yamura and bring that girl back here alive, Hui commands. It will be as you say, my lord, the head priest says. I will not fail you. See to it that you do not. My patience is lacking after so many setbacks as of late. I'm surprised that you don't want to kill Yamura yourself, Greg says, sneering. Hui is irritated by the young man's tone. Reacting emotionally is a sign of weakness. As long as Yamura is eliminated, why should I care who does the deed? With Yamura gone, there will be no one to stand in the way of my ascension. The head priest punches a fist through a nearby stone wall, attempting to gauge his newfound strength. I will leave now and not return until I have Yamura's head and the girl in tow. With that, Cruzon vanishes from the sanctuary and into the tunnels like a blur. His speed is too fast for Craig to track with his eyes. Can he really do it? Yamura was able to battle Inyana and come out alive. Was she not the strongest of all of your kind? Craig asks. At one time, yes. I, however, have gained tremendous power through the devotion of my followers. I believe that I currently rest at the zenith of Sakari power. Craig bows. Then you shall rule this world, and only grow stronger as nations fall before you in adoration. Hui laughs. Soon, all humanity shall proclaim me Lord God and Master.